Nobody knows where it is. Nobody who got close to finding it lived long enough to tell the story. The last time anyone saw it intact, the world was on fire. And the men who took it, they didn't just vanish. They were erased. This is the story of the Amber Room, and it is far darker than any textbook will ever tell you. It began as a gift between kings. 1716. Prussia's King Frederick William I wanted an alliance with Russia's Peter the Great. So he offered him something no one had ever built before, a room made entirely of amber, 6 tons of it. Panels carved and fitted like a golden puzzle, glowing like trapped sunlight, warm to the touch even in the dead of winter. Peter accepted. The room was disassembled, packed into crates, and transported to St. Petersburg. When it was finally installed in the Catherine Palace outside the city, visitors said standing inside it felt like standing inside the sun itself. Walls of amber, gold leaf, and mirrors stretched floor to ceiling. Mosaics made from over 100,000 individual amber pieces told stories without words. The Russians called it the 8th wonder of the world. For over 200 years, it stood untouched, unchanged, almost sacred. Then the Germans came, September 1941. The Wehrmacht moved through Soviet territory with terrifying speed. Leningrad was surrounded. The Catherine Palace, just 15 miles south, was directly in their path. Soviet curators tried to save the room. They began carefully removing the amber panels. But amber is brittle. It cracked under their hands. The glue holding the mosaics had hardened over centuries. The more they pulled, the more it broke. They made a decision that haunted them for the rest of their lives. They left it. They covered the walls in wallpaper and gauze, hoping the Germans wouldn't notice, hoping they would walk past it. They didn't. Nazi soldiers needed less than 36 hours to dismantle what had taken years to build. They packed the entire room into 27 crates. Within days, those crates were loaded onto trucks heading west. The destination? Königsberg, a fortified city on the Baltic coast. Today, it's called Kaliningrad. Then, it was one of the most heavily guarded places in the Third Reich. The Amber Room was reassembled in Königsberg Castle and put on display. German officers brought their families to see it. Photographs were taken. For 3 years, it sat there, stolen, displayed, admired by the people who took it. And then the war began to turn. By 1944, Allied bombing campaigns were targeting German cities. Königsberg was hit hard. The castle was damaged. Fires broke out across the city. What happened next is where the story fractures into darkness. Some witnesses said the amber panels were repacked into crates and moved to the castle's basement. Others said they were loaded onto a ship, the Wilhelm Gustloff, which was later sunk by a Soviet submarine, killing over 9,000 people. If the amber was on board, it lies somewhere at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. But there's another account, a darker one. A German officer named Alfred Rohde was in charge of the Amber Room during its time in Königsberg. He oversaw its installation. He documented its condition. He was one of the last people confirmed to have seen it. In 1945, as Soviet forces closed in on the city, Rohde was questioned by investigators about the room's location. He gave vague answers. He seemed nervous, evasive. Weeks later, Alfred Rohde was dead. Official cause, typhus. His wife died the same week. Also typhus. Investigators who reviewed the case decades later noted something strange. There was no record of any typhus outbreak in that area at that time. The couple who knew the most about where the Amber Room went died within days of being questioned. Together, silently, with no witnesses. They were not the last. In the decades that followed, at least 4 researchers who claimed to be close to finding the Amber Room died under circumstances that were never fully explained. A German journalist, a Soviet investigator, 2 amateur treasure hunters who had reportedly located a sealed underground bunker in the forests of Poland. The bunker was never officially excavated. One man, Georg Stein, a former German soldier who spent decades of his life searching for the room, was found dead in a Bavarian forest in 1987. He had been mutilated. The case was ruled a suicide. Nobody believed it. Stein had recently told friends he was on the verge of a breakthrough, that he had found documents pointing to a location no one had searched before. Those documents were never found among his belongings. Someone had been there first. The trail doesn't end there. It just gets colder and stranger. In 1997, German art detectives recovered a single mosaic panel, one small piece confirmed to be from the Amber Room. It had been hidden in the estate of a deceased German soldier. His son had tried to sell it quietly, not knowing what it was. One panel, out of hundreds. Where were the rest? The son claimed his father had never spoken about it, that it had simply been in the family for decades, wrapped in cloth, stored in a basement. The father had died years earlier, taking whatever he knew with him. That panel is now in a museum in Russia. It is the only confirmed piece of the original Amber Room ever recovered. One piece, in 80 years of searching. In 2004, Russia and Germany completed a full reconstruction of the Amber Room. 24 years of work, millions of dollars. It now sits restored in the Catherine Palace, glowing exactly as it once did. Amber warm, gold bright, mirrors endless. Tourists line up every day to see it. They take photographs. They call it breathtaking. But the people who built it know the truth. What you see today is a copy. A beautiful, meticulous, heartbreaking copy. The original is still out there, hidden, protected, perhaps sealed in a bunker beneath European soil, perhaps scattered across private collections, each piece unknown for what it is, perhaps sitting at the bottom of the Baltic, slowly dissolving into the cold and the dark. And the people who got too close to finding it, they stopped looking. One way or another, they always stopped. The Amber Room doesn't want to be found, and whatever, or whoever, is keeping it hidden has made that very, very clear.